Why are artists like Olivia Rodrigo and Harry Styles opting for mini residencies with 6+ nights in one city while skipping hundreds of cities, especially in the Midwest? And this is something that's really near and dear to my heart because I'm from the Midwest. I am from Southwest Missouri. I'm not going to dox myself entirely. Is this the future of touring? What is a mini residency? A concert residency is a series of concerts similar to a tour, only performed in one location. These started in 1944, but were modernized by Celine Dion in the 21st century. They're a staple in Vegas and have expanded to other places as well, like New York City and Los Angeles. I've actually seen some residencies, like Keith Urban, Katy Perry, Kelly Clarkson, and more, that did residencies in Las Vegas. The only thing that I'm not a fan of in residencies, and that obviously depends on the artist, but the residencies have this uppity or high art form in similarity to something like Broadway or theater or, ballet.
I don't want to be working in ballet or opera or, things where it's like, hey, keep this thing alive, even though no one cares about this anymore.
You end up having people not dancing or enjoying like you would at a standard concert. Recently, due to high demand of artists in certain cities, artists have been doing mini residencies, where on their touring schedule, they extend their tour stop to multiple nights, as seen prolifically with Harry Styles' 15 nights at the Madison Square Garden in New York City for his Love on Tour. Why do artists do this? If we're going to tour, why would we do residencies? A big reason is economics. By not transferring all of their equipment, lighting, and sound systems to every single city, artists and their teams save a good portion of their money. Another reason is that creating something that can travel is kind of difficult. You see this with touring productions of Broadway shows where there's certain elements of a show that are harder to travel with. Creative teams have to figure out a quick and efficient way to travel with all of these elements of their shows for any touring production, whether it's a Broadway show or a concert tour. Not only whether or not you would actually be able to have it be traveled with, it's also whether or not it's too expensive to travel with these huge pieces of equipment, like we kind of said during the economics piece of this discussion. Another reason that artists opt for residencies over a full-blown tour is some personal reasons. The first of those is a lot of artists say it's better for their machine and their health. This is because a life on a tour bus and traveling 24/7 is very difficult on a person's body. I can attest, I remember whenever I was traveling all the time, it was a lot of work on my body to get enough sleep, enough nutrition, and other factors like that. So I can totally see where this is coming from. And I wasn't performing on a sold out stage every single night. Specifically in the idea of the Unraveled tour by Olivia Rodrigo, Olivia has 9 nights in LA at the Intuit Dome. She can sleep in her own bed all of those nights. Who wouldn't want to do that? Another personal reason is because of their life. To tour for months and months, an artist has to uproot their entire life and their family to perform for months and months. They leave their friends and their family for months to work, which is not something that most people who work do. They kind of come home at night. I think the most similar to this would be people who work on a cruise ship because they're under contract for so and so amount of months and they can't leave the ship for that time. They can leave the ship, but they can't leave the general area of the ship. And this is not me saying that being a celebrity musician is difficult by any means, because I highly doubt that, but it could take tolls on artist relationships. Now, this begs the question, why is this bad for fans if it has so many benefits for the artist? While we discussed artist economics, fans also, if not more, have the issues with economics. Not only is the price of tour tickets extremely high, but the price to travel to this destination is also extremely high. Me going to 4 concerts with Joshua Bassett over the course of 5 days cost me around $2,000 in 2024. I'm lucky that I'm able to do something like that, but many fans are not. So this makes the tour inaccessible to many people. Also just casual fans, people who don't want to spend $2,000 to go see an artist. And this is especially with the raising of ticket prices. Some of Olivia's lower bowl were a starting price of $600. That is absolutely ridiculous. Besides economics, the fairness of residencies for fans just isn't there, like I said previously. Just like we have the international fan fairness discussion constantly in fandoms, which I think we have that a little more than we should, and I could make a video on that some other time. We also should be having the discussion about the United States fairness. Places like Rhode Island, Delaware, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Vermont are some of the least toured spots in the United States. This is because they have lower populations, which leads to less tickets being sold in these places. Additionally, places like Hawaii and Alaska have this problem that it's a lot harder to travel to those states because Hawaii is an island and Alaska is kind of in the middle of nowhere. Is mini residencies the future of touring? Destination concerts do look like the future of tours. Tours and concerts being inaccessible to fans looks like the future of touring, unfortunately. And I wish I had a silver lining for the end of this video, but as time passes, it feels as though this is where we're heading.